what should I say? Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on what part of the world you're in. First off, I want to apologise. I haven't had time to shave, okay? So I do look a bit rough around the edges and not my beautiful self. Now, what we're going to cover in this hangout is we're going to cover the stop loss tool, okay? And if you've got any questions as I go through this hangout, if you could put them into the comment section there, or of course, if you're watching the replay, then you need to put it in the comments underneath the video. But make sure you put them in capital letters, and then I can see that they're actually questions. And of course, when this, if you're watching this replay or you're watching it live and you come back to the replay, and if you want to put a testimonial or say something about the company in the comments below, and of course put your affiliate links in there. And if you're watching this hangout and you like what you've seen, or about to see, I should say, and you're interested in joining this business, then look for a link that's in the comments, okay? Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, and I've got to juggle between screen sharing, and I'll share the screen first, okay? Now, let me know that hopefully you can see the screen. I'm just going to come over to the hangout and make sure that the screen is sharing okay, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a couple of things off of Zukul in a minute, and I've got my trusty pens in my hands, okay? So let me know you can see the screen and that you can hear me okay. If you could just say, yeah, we've got you, Jeremy. Yes, we can. That's great. Thanks a lot, Mike. Right, so look, I'm going to go over to the Zukul. Now, this was yesterday. I set up two bots, as you can see, live pair one and live demo pair one. So I set identical bots, okay? I implemented the stop loss tool. And as you can see, both of these bots, the demo version has made $64.90 and the live version has made $64.90. Okay, now if I go to the live bot here, and I'm just going to click on the edit settings. Now, what I want you to do is just to picture what we got in these settings. And the bit that we're interested in is we're interested in not the budget. We're not interested in the budget. We're not interested in the first bet. What we're interested is this profit target. So I'm just going to make a note of this on the board, and then we're going to stop sharing, and I'm going to come over. So I've got a profit target. I'm going to call that PT. The profit target of $25, and then I've got a stop loss level. Okay, I've got the stop loss there, and as you can see, that's set for 25%. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to come back over to well, let me first tell you that, you know, we've answered Dave's question there. Do the demo bots and the live bots run the same? Well, as you can see, they do perfectly, because they've both got $64 in and 94 cents in credit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm now going to come back over to the hangout, and I'm going to show you what this means. Okay, so if I looking at let me just get that figure again, because there was $64.90. Okay, so I'll just do that like that. $64.90 is what I've got in profit so far. Okay, so I've written that on the board. Now let me just explain to you the stop loss tool. Okay, so I want to draw this again for you that I did yesterday or the other day. I lose track. So I'm just going to draw this. I'm going to call this the start line. Okay, this is the start line. This is when you would start your bot. So on here is your actual bot that you've set up. Okay, and when it gets to this start line, obviously that's when you've clicked the OK and you've set up your bot. And then this is where the bot sits in there. Okay, it sits inside there. Now, what happens now when you set? We had a budget, didn't we? We had a budget set there, and we had, and I said I wasn't interested in the budget. We had, a profit target, and we had a budget in there. Now, so your budget, okay, your budget would be down here somewhere. Okay, so that basically means that, you know, if you set a budget of $100, for example. There, so you'd set a budget for $100. That means you're prepared to only spend $100. You don't want to spend any more than $100. And if you spend any more, the bot would stop. Okay, so that means the bot would have to lose you $100. So you've got your budget set for $100, and then you also put your profit margin in there as well. So I'm going to put the profit here. So you set a profit target. I'm just going to call that the PT. Okay, and in this case, it was $20. And that sits in there somewhere. And I'm just going to do a dotted line like that. Okay, so what happens is you start your bot, and I'm going to use a green candle here, a green pen. And let's just say that the price goes up, and it does something like this. It goes down, okay, then it goes up, then it goes all near enough touches the profit, then it goes down, and then bosh, it breaks through. So it breaks through there. So while the bot's running, here you're going to be into small profit. This between here and here is profit, okay? That's what would happen. But you could lose that profit because you haven't hit your profit target, okay? So that obviously could be as much as, I'll do that, $19.99, okay? Because once you hit the $20, then you're either on that line or you've broke through the line, okay? Now, your stop loss was down here, okay? Which is not your stop loss, this is your budget. So this means is what you're prepared to trade with. Because it's not, even though it is a stop loss, but really you're saying, I want to trade with $100, and if the bot was to do this, you know, where I've got it coming down here, if it did that and broke through that line there, that would just automatically stop the bot, okay? But what we're not going to do is we're not going to be negative, and we're not going to say that our bot got down that low, and we're going to say that our bot stayed above that line, okay? And we was happy trading. The bot was happy trading because it stayed above that line, okay? Now, what happens is you can see in my case, the bot went up to, and I'm going to just put this arrow up a little bit further, went up to $64.90. So what does this mean? $64.90. And we had a what we called a stop loss level of 25%. Okay, so what does that mean? So you set a level of $20. Okay, and let me see if I can get it. Let me just see. I'm just going to get rid of something on the screen. So I'm going to try and see where I've got some space on the board. If I've got space, yeah, I'm going to use in here. Okay, so I'm going to use this space here to write what I need to write. So I'm just going to draw this line down here, this red line. Okay, so that segments that off. Okay, now what you did was you set your stop loss target or your stop loss level at $20 and with the settings of 25%. Now, what does that mean? So let's just say that your bot hits this line, okay, this line that's up here, and it goes above it slightly. So it goes on this first level here, and that level happens to be $31.60. Now, what the bot does, I'm going to get my calculator for this. What the bot does is it says, right, you've made a profit. You've gone past the $20. So now we want to make sure we keep some of that profit. So what the bot does is it says, we got 25% of that we're going to carry on trading with. The other 75%, I'm going to bank it. I'm not going to spend it for you. So basically, if you've got $31.60 times 75%, the system is going to say to you, well, I'm going to bank $23.70 is being banked. Now, it doesn't get put anywhere else. It stays inside your pocket options account. But basically, if the robot dropped, you know, the price started to go the other way and it lost some bets, okay, once it hit 23.70, it would stop. Okay, it would give you a profit. It'd stop the bot and say, I've got you your profit today. I'm not going to spend any more money. I'm going to keep you that. So what does that mean? So you've got 31.60 minus the 23.7. Okay, means the bot has still got $7.90 that you can trade with. So what will it do? It will carry on trading with this amount of money. And the minute it loses that money and it's no longer available, it stops and gives you that bit of profit. But we don't want to stop and give you that bit of profit. So what happens is in the background, okay, we have what's called, that you don't see it, okay? You don't see it, you don't see in your settings. Nothing changes when you go and click on the edit settings. It only has the original settings in there. But in the background, what happened now is the bot says, well, hold on a minute. you had a target of 20. I've actually got you to 64. So what it does then is it says, well, I'm going to move this profit line here. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to move it up here. So there'll be a new line up here. Okay. And so what the bot does now is I'm going to get rid of this. So if you've got questions, then I'll come back to this. So what the bot does now is it says, well, you've now got $64. So it says $64.90 times the 75%. Okay. So we know the bot's banked for me already $48.67. Okay. So if I take the 64.9 times the 25%, it's got to trade with, so this is been banked. So I don't care now. Whatever happens, I'm going to walk away with $48 profit, okay? Because it's banked. It's not going to drop down to, which is some of my bots have done in the past. I've got loads of profit and drop down again. So it's banked that, and now it says I got to trade with, this is what the money has to trade. So it has, what, it's $16.25. So if it loses that $16.25, yes, you're not going to earn 64, but you know you're guaranteed to walk away with that now because the bot's banked it for you. There's no way you can lose that. As soon as it gets past this first line, it then banks, it starts to bank, but it starts to move the line up. And then what it does is it sets a new line up here. You don't see, okay? You don't see what that line is. Now, what the bot does then is it waits, and as the price continues to grow, okay, as the price hopefully continues to grow, obviously the price can drop, bang, hit that line, that will trigger this, okay? As soon as it hits that line, that will trigger this. But if it carried on going, okay, and it gets to a new high, okay, a new high, so let's just say now it's got itself to, I don't know, I'm going to put a dollar sign there, 89.46. So what does the bot do, okay? What does the bot do now? So the bot, first thing it does is it's now going to look at your new bank. It's going to say, well, you had 64, you've now got 89. So now it says 89.46 times 75%. I'm now going to bank you 67. So it's going to bank you $67.09. Okay. Now, what it does with the remaining money, which is the minus the 67.09. It's now, what have I done there? No, I've got that wrong. Sorry. Oh yes, 89. 89.46 minus 67.09 equals $22. It's got $22 here, $22.37 to carry on trading with. And it knows it can lose that money if it wants to. Now, here comes the interesting bit that we're working on at the moment, and I think that's mind-blowing already. So as you can see, as your bot goes up through these new levels that the bot sets itself, it's going to start banking your profit. So once your bot gets into its first milestone, so you set a milestone, $20, $10, something like that. You don't want to go too low with a milestone because you won't leave enough percentage. Because, let's just say you set it at $5. Let's just put it like this, just to show you. So imagine you set your profit target at $5, okay, and the bot got to $5, and it could be pennies, couldn't it? Because say it's on 89%, so it's $5 times 89%. Plus, let's just say that your bot hit $6, okay? Hit the $6. It broke through the $5, so now you've got $6 times 25%. Sorry, $6 times 25%. It only leaves you $1.50 to trade with, okay? Well, it can't do half a trade, can it? So you're only going to get one trade. So your bot's probably not going to be able to go past $6, is it? And it's actually, in fact, it's not going to go past $5. It's going to end up with $5.50 because if it takes another bet with $1, you've set it too low. So you want to set reasonable targets. Obviously, your bot can still, if you like, I want to call this the danger zone. You've got this area here. that's the danger zone. This is your danger zone here. This is where you're going to lose. If you're going to lose, that's where you're going to lose it. Okay, he's in that zone there, and that is from the point that well, it's in this area. Sorry, I beg your pardon, because that was the stop. It's this areas. These, in actual fact, all of these areas here that I've marked in red are your danger zone. From the minute you start the bot, if you start to lose money, you're in the danger zone. And before you hit the first target, you know, and I've set this for $20. I'm suggesting around about $20, $15, somewhere like that. You do the maths, get your calculator out. You want to leave enough money to trade with, okay? Because what the bot does, it'll only trade, it banks you 75% and trades with the remaining 25, okay? Once it hits its target. So you want to make sure you leave enough there for a few bets, okay? So once you're out of the danger zone and you hit the profit zone, okay? So this is your, up here, this is your profit zone. You're safe, aren't you? You're safe. Your bot can't lose now. You cannot lose. There's no way that you're going to walk away with no money because you've got this profit zone setting. Now, we're still working on this tool, but one thing I want to tell you, what I want to show you now, which is really, this is something that I thought of yesterday, and I want to hopefully explain this. And if you've got questions about what I'm about to tell you and what you've seen so far, put them into the Hangout. So what I'll do is I'll go to the Hangout first to see if we've got any questions. And then I want to show you another little tool that I'm working on. So there you go, Dave. So that hopefully got your answer, Dave, that the demo and the live work perfectly. And it's great that I've got myself into profit with that particular pair, even though I wouldn't have chose that pair before. Right, so we don't have any questions. So if you'll allow me, I'll move on. But please, if you've got questions, then let me know. And it's good to see you, Sharon, in the house there. So right now, this is another thing that it dawned on me yesterday. Okay, and I wrote it. I did a Hangout yesterday morning, mid-morning, and after I did the Hangout and explained this tool to you, which is what I just showed you, something dawned on me, and a light bulb went off in my head. And I'll show you. First off, I want to share my screen, okay, because I want to show you what this light bulb that triggered off in my head. So I'll share my screen. So hopefully you can see the screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back over to Zukul. Okay, and I'm just going to click on the edit setting here. Okay, now if I look there, I'm looking now at the formula. Okay, I'm looking at the formula. So let's just write this down. So it's 1, 3, 12, 42. Okay, so now I'm going to stop sharing my screen. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and just remember that figure 25% and the stop loss of $20. Okay, right. So now I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I want to come back over to here, and I want to talk about this thing and the light bulb went off in my head yesterday, and you know, what I'm about to tell you, I think is another genius thing that this bot's going to be able to do. And I wrote the spec for it literally yesterday afternoon, and the programmers are actually working on it right now. Okay, right now. So let's just get some figures here on the board. So on there, I had $25 as me profit line. Okay, profit target. Okay, the PT. And what happened is the bot broke through that profit target. So if I go over to here, let me just see, and we know it was $64.90 this morning. Well, that made some trades this morning, I can tell you that. Okay, but the thing is, when it broke through that profit line, okay, when it broke through that profit line, it said, so let's just say it got to $27. Okay, because this is something that really dawned on me yesterday. It got to $27, a set profit. So now it's got to $27. Now it's going to bank and lock in me profit. Okay, so this is what. So I'm going to take the $27 and I'm going to times that by 25%. Okay, so that had a balance of $6. I'm going to put here a trading balance, a trade balance. Okay, a trade B of $6.75. Okay, so if I take that off of the $27, so $27 minus the 6.75, So at this point, when it got to 27, it banked for me. It banked for me $20.25. So okay, I know I'm going to walk away with $20.25. But the bit that I'm interested in is this, okay, and this formula. So let me now tell you, we got this figure here. We're going to come back to that figure in a minute. But now we've got to look at this. So the formula was 1, 3, 12, 42. So what that means is it will place a bet of $1. Okay? It will place a bet of $1. If that loses, if that's a loss, the next bet will be $3. If that was a loss, the next bet would be $12. And if that was a loss, the next bet would be $42. Right. Well, 1 plus the 3, that equals to $4. So let's just say we've got $6.75. I'm going to put this in the center of the screen here so that we get this. We've got $6.75. Okay. Now the bot banked us this $20 and it made another bet now of $1. Bosh. But it lost it. So it's now lost $1. So that now goes down to $5.75. Okay, because it lost this dollar. Then it made another bet of $3 and it lost that bet. Okay, so this has now gone down to $2.75. Now the next bet that it wants to place is $12. Well, it can't, can it? Because it's got $2.75 plus it's got that it's got this 0.75. So I said to the programmers, I said, look, that means the bot's going to do 2 more bets and then it's got to stop. Yes, it's going to put a bit more profit into the bank, but it can't go any further. And that's not what you want to have happen. You don't want to run out of money. You ideally want to carry on trading. So I said to the programmers, I said, when it does that, what I want you to do is, because it's 275, take that figure, 2.75, and divide it by 3. 0.91 cents in this case, okay? And you're probably looking at the screen saying, well, Jeremy, you can't even place a bet of 91 cents. You can. You can have a bet placed at any amount when you use API connections. You can't do it manually, but you can have a bet placed. So this means now that the bot can do another 3 bets. Yes, of course, they're only small amounts, but that could be the win, couldn't it? It could place its dollar here, could place $1 there, and now it's back into the win. So it's just made $1 and got 98 cents profit. Now this price is this $6 is this $5 that was, or this $2.75 is now gone up by $1.98. So because it placed a $1 bet. Okay, so we now got 2.75 plus 1. Sorry, it's not. It's 2.75 plus 0.98 because you would have lost it. Now you're back. This is coming up because it wouldn't be $1. It would be a profit of 98 cents roughly. So now you're back up to $3.73. So what that means is the bot can carry on trading just because it could have won it. And let's just say it lost here. It could still have placed another bet and still add you a bit of money to trade with. And if it lost here, it could still have another bit of money to trade with. So that's a tool that we're working on to add to that existing tool that we've got. And I think that's mind-blowing. That little thing there, because when you do the trading, and Darren will tell you this as well, you can tend to lose on the first 2 bets. It's very rarely you lose 3 in a row or 4 in a row, okay? Or even 5 in a row. But you see, with this little extra tweak that we're going to do to it, and the programmers are working on it now to try and find out how to do it, because writing it on a board and explaining it in words is one thing, but actually getting it to be programmed into the code is another thing. These guys are geniuses. I really do think they are. And this is really Danny, my business partner. He's the guy behind the brains of the programming. I just tell him my ideas and put it on paper. And we talk about it and we play with it and we come up with how he's going to do it. So that's what we're adding to the stop loss tool. Okay. So you've already got the stop loss tool in place, which I would love you to go and play with and set up some demo bots. I would say set your demo bots up now that run as like you're running real money. Don't set them for thousands of dollars, you know, set them for $100, $200, whatever you're going to do with real money. But I want to tell you one more thing that we're going to be adding, okay? And I think that this next tool that we're adding, okay, is going to be another complete game changer for this bot. So we've got our stop loss that locks in your profit. But what I also thought was, you know, I started doing that. My first bet was $1. Okay. Now, there was a point when did I do it? If I do this chart again, and I do this circle, and I say that my budget was down here, wasn't it? You know, so I said it was $100, say. Doesn't matter what it was. And then I set my target, my profit target was here, so the PT was here, and that was at $25 in my case. Okay, that runs along there. Now, what happens is we go through this scenario again. You start the bot here, the price goes up, goes down, goes up, bosh, and hopefully it's going to get out of the danger zone and hit the profit zone. Now it's hit the profit zone. So we'll take the scenario that we got, which was $64.90. It hits that profit zone. And so what it says now is it does, which I've just told you, so it's $64.90, and it's going to trade with 25% of that. So times 25%. So it's now got a trading balance of $16.22. So I'm going to put that here, $16.22. Now, what also it does is it now compounds. Okay, so it's banked the profit. Let me just say it's banked, you know, you make sure you understand it's not going to touch your profit. It's banked your profit. I'll do that. But now it's doing what we're calling compounding. And it's got the $16, and you think, well, it's made a profit of $16, Jeremy. How do you compound that? You know, because you're not going to take this money that you've already banked for me. You're going to lose that for me, are you? No, we bank the profit. And then what we do is we take the $16 and we say, well, we got from this point, and it might have been a rocky road to this point with $1 first bets. So why don't we now increase the $1 bet to $2? We'll take a percentage of this, and increase it to $2 based on what we know is being banked, what we know we've got trading, and based on the formula. There's a load of algorithms that are going to go in place, and I don't want to get into that, because I did a lot of working out yesterday. But basically, we want to get to a place where we've got enough profit here to run martingales, okay, at least one run, okay? And then we got some money afterwards to do some 1-1-1 bets or 2-2-2 bets. But basically, if we got to this stage, I don't know, 10 hours, I don't know what it was, but let's just say we got to there in 10 hours. If we now up the ante, you know, there's a good chance we could get to that again, double that in 5 hours, isn't it? Because we're now placing higher bets, okay? And that's what compounding is. It's compounding. You don't compound where you reinvest what you've got because you don't want to lose your profit. But what you do is you compound in a way that you increase the actual amount of bet that you're placing in the beginning. Now, there's a whole formula that goes behind that, and it's not going to increase your bet so that you run out of betting power too quickly. There's a formula that's worked in place. The bot will know how much to increase it by, because the bot, as I said to you before, I've put a round number there, but the bot might do, because we've already spoke to Pocket Options, and they said, yeah, you could do that with an API key. The bot might do 1.10 cents, mightn't it, as its first bet. And if it wins that first bet, it might say, well, I'm going to do another bet now of 120. You know, because if he gets a bet of 110, okay, if he gets a bet, if the bot does, or she, we call her, so let's just say we compounded, we did our first bet 1.1, okay, and then we times that by, we'll say 80%, okay, 80%. So the bot's now just got you your 110 back, plus it's made 88 cents profit. So if we plus that, it's now 198, isn't it? So now the bot could say, well, I'll use that bet that I've won, I'll use it. I've still got plenty of money here. I'm not going to touch the bank, but now I'll make a bet of 198. So if I have a bet of 198, 1.98, okay, and then I times that by 80%. So that's now 158 is, did I do that right? 1.98 times 80%, yeah, is 158, 184, sorry, 158 plus the 198 that I started with, isn't it? So if I do that, I now got 354, 356 that I could do a first bet with, okay? So I can now compound the winning each time on my first bet. If I lose that, I can drop down to a $1 bet. I can drop down and say, right, let's get into it. As soon as it starts getting in profit again with its first bet, it says, right, my second bet, I'm going to start with that. I'm going to keep. And so what the system will do, well, not only will it bet, I mean, I've just showed you what it's going to bet, but what it will do is it will say, you know, I've got $3.56. I'm going to go and do 75% of that. I could bank for you, couldn't I? Okay. He could say, I can bank 75%. So he's got 3.56 times 75%. He could bank 267 out of that and still use some of this money to increase on the trade. So that's something that we're working on right now. We run through the ideas of this. I run through with Danny yesterday, you know, my partner, and I explained what I wanted to do, because sometimes when I explain things, it's in here. Okay, it's in here, and I've got to get it out. Got to get it out, and I got that out to him, and I run through on the whiteboard and showed him, and I could see when I was talking to him, you know, I could feel that the light bulbs were going off. The light bulbs were going bang, bang, bang in his head, and he's going, yeah, I've got it, Jeremy, I've got it. And then he went away, came back, and he drew me diagrams, sent me over this diagram, and said, "This is what I think how it should work." And he's working on that now. This is just mind blowing. It really is, of what this bot's going to be able to achieve. So I'm going to come to the Hangout, and I'm just going to make sure that we haven't got any questions. So what we got here, is it good that Jeremy is in contact with Peter? Yeah. Well, of course, it's great that we can talk to them. So let me know if you've got any questions, because we're coming up to about the half an hour here. So if you've got any questions, let me know. I'm just going to have a drink of water while you think about any questions. Yeah, thanks, David. So if you've got any questions, let me know in the Hangout there. And I can, if not, we'll end this Hangout here, and you can go and play with the tool. And what I will say is, if you want to get access to this robot, okay, right now you can get access to this bot, providing you become a leader or a founder. And if you don't know what a leader or a founder is, then maybe talk to somebody in the comments below if you're watching this video, or if you can, you know, send in a support ticket into Zukul support office there. And you know, we can give you, and I'll show you, let me share my screen. So if you're interested in getting access to the bot, okay, let me share the screen and I'll show you what you've got to do. So share the screen, and then what we'll do is we'll wrap it up after this if there's no questions. Right, so if you're logged into your Zukul back office, when you come up the top here is your name. If you click on that, you'll see support tickets. Click on that support ticket. Ask them for the information about becoming a founder. I've got a video that I did yesterday. If you want to go and look for that on YouTube, you can find that on YouTube. If I do duplicate this, and I've come up to, is it going to say my channel? Yeah, my channel. If you come over to my YouTube channel and then go to videos, I've got a video that I did yesterday called Binary Options Robot Launch. That is the video you want to look at, okay? It's also in the description of this video that you're watching now. Watch that video. It tells you exactly what you need to do if you want to be a founder. It tells you what you get, what privileges you get as being a founder, and how much money you save. If you want to get access to this bot, what I'm showing you now on the screen, that's where you need to go. Okay, so I'm just going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to come over to the Hangout, and what we got there. So it doesn't look like we got any questions, so I'm going to end it there. I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me on this Hangout, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a fantastic day. But I would bookmark this video because it's a great way to see how this tool works. You have a fantastic day. Tutty bye.